Welcome to a new video, this time with a top 10 RPG mods for Minecraft 1.19.2. Changing the game style for this popular genre. How about finding vases in different parts of the world? One of the best known would be underground, accompanying the huge caves. These vases can be broken by hand and we can find various minerals and valuable objects such as enchanted books. This is not all. Sometimes they will also hide crabs that will attack you for trying to break their house. They are not that dangerous, but be careful with their damage. These can be found in different variants, 2 from the overworld, 1 from the nether and 1 from the end, so in no dimension will you be saved from them. How about having an inventory expansion using a series of bags? The potion bag where we can store potions. The quiver, the typical object to store arrows. A bundle that is used to store various things, but it can be your lunch bag. And finally the typical backpack, where you can store anything. With this we will have a large expansion of inventory, and if you add to this that they can be placed in special slots and can be seen in third person, it undoubtedly makes it a good option for backpacks. The only drawback is that I did not find that it had one hotkey to this additional inventory, making it difficult to use in emergency situations. I don't usually make this recommendation, but what if instead of using the typical mini-map that is present in all mod packs, we use a compass that marks the creatures that are around us and at the same time the wind rose to be able to orient ourselves more easily. I know it's not the best option, however, mega popular games have used them like Skyrim, which is an ARPG, so it's within the theme. Now in some desert pyramids, dungeons, end cities, nether fortresses, mineshafts and others we can find tarot cards. These will improve an aspect of the character such as super jump or speed. There are 22 in total and they will work as relics or artifacts that will improve your gameplay, and they will help you to face the enemies that you can add in the mod pack that you use. It also adds a backpack of cards where we can place them so that their effect is maintained without taking up space in the inventory. I add the following with the aim of adding small and medium-sized structures, which accompany the player in the first steps of the adventure and which are not difficult to explore, but which at the same time help to create an atmosphere. In addition, they also add enemies, not very complicated, and the majority are goblins and goblins. In order to increase the number of enemies in the game, we have one that adds variants of the undead, such as zombies and skeletons that you can find at night or in dimly lit places. These new enemies are brilliantly animated, and not only that, they have new special attacks, which will make us change the typical style of play that you usually have with Minecraft enemies. These are usually a challenge for the early game, since with Armor of Netherita they stop being it. There are even mini-bosses like one equipped with a giant mace whose attacks you must avoid to avoid suffering the consequences, or another one that is equipped with an axe and shield, which makes it an even more formidable enemy. However, getting attacked by one at a time isn't the challenge, it's being attacked by a bunch of them all. This will make the knights a challenge to survive. To defend ourselves against these new enemies we will need new equipment, and what better than samurai armor, which will be found in vanilla materials such as iron, gold, diamond, netherite, and adding silver as white armor, all with similar protections to those of the armors of the same material, but of Minecraft. However, things do not end there, but several new minerals are added to us, from which precious stones and ingots will be extracted, in order to create new variants of colorful armor. And that will increase the variations of equipment. With this, obviously, new ninja and samurai weapons are added to us, to increase your efficiency in combat. We are going with a more complete RPG mod, since it adds small dungeons to the overworld with some enemies. However, what caught my attention the most were the nether dungeons full of small demons inside, but the lower part is inhabited by a mini-boss called Doom. All of these attack with fireballs, and at first they would seem harmless, but if you enter without caution the only result will be your death. But if you think that dungeon is small, expect to find the Sorrow Spire, a dungeon in the shape of a tower and full of enemies, lost souls that scream and sob for their punishment in the nether. In the lowest room will be the boss area, a giant cube with life, a being that looks like the accumulation of lost souls that come together to form this creature. This is a summon being, since it will generate a large number of area of effects around it, which makes it difficult to get close because you will be in constant movement to avoid its attacks. As if this is not enough, it also has armor and short and long-range weapons. This puts us in a good position to face the bosses. In addition, he also has magic weapons, such as staffs that allow us to cast spells that will damage those whom he hits. With all this, it becomes a good option if what you are looking for is all this. We are going with what for me is the best magic mod for the RPG style, adding a large number of cast spells, from single-use paper rolls and without the need to spend mana for their use. These are governed by levels from common to legendary. These can be found in dungeons or they can be created in a scroll forge using a special ink, paper and a catalyst. We will select one of the spells and with that it is created, we can already use the magic inside. These can be upgraded by combining them into an arcane amble. 2 level 1 make 1 level 2 and so until you can upgrade them to legendary grade. This upgrade can increase their damage or casting speed, depending on the spell. There is so much variety of spells that you can create powers that seem to come from other video games. Long time without seeing a mod with this level of quality. Finally, we have the inscription table used to place scrolls of paper in a book. With this, the scrolls will no longer be single use, but we will use the mana we have to cast the spells. To switch between the placed spells, you can use the R and select the spell on the wheel. To increase your mana, you will have to make use of the armor that the mod gives you. Something additional are the structures that also add us where we can find enemies that drop us objects necessary for crafting or the different work tables. In the top one we have a mod that is 100% needed to be an RPG. For this we will first need some experience, and by pressing the O key on the keyboard a skill tree will appear. As you can see, it is huge, allowing us to increase different capacities of our character. To convert the experience into skill points we will click on the bar. Once we have a few we can choose a class. Choose well, since you will not be able to choose another later. With this we can follow different lines of improvements. As you can see, I have obtained half an armor slot and this will increase as we continue to gain experience. As I said at the beginning, a mod like this is essential to call it an RPG. Thank you very much for viewing the content. Remember to comment, like or dislike and subscribe.